reiterate, this clip is exactly why I do this channel. Politicians, they throw a lot of sparkles, though they're full of it a lot of times. And in this case, Jagmeet Singh is completely full of it. He's obviously not running anymore. Check this out.
Right now, who are the ones that are struggling?
I just want to go back to the questions about C-11. I don't really understand your position. You're saying that Canadians should have a role in what's happening online, but your party decided they shouldn't have a role in the parliamentary process, and that through secret amendments to this bill that your MPs and the Liberals saw, you passed changes that are not transparent, that are not yet public. How do you justify doing that? I'm not asking you about the contents of the bill. I'm not asking you about your support of the bill. I'm asking you how the NDP explains why it supports this untransparent move in committee.
It's not at all the case. We have a bill in front of Parliament that is about tackling the fact.
You can hear the the frustration in her voice. That's the fourth time they've tried to get the answer out of him. He's obviously not running. It's just completely just like the Liberals. Don't give the answers, and then they throw them out again, and the media doesn't go after you. Well, they're going after him now. Check this out.
Right now, the content that you see on social media is governed by billionaires that are only interested in making more profit. Mark Zuckerberg controls Facebook and Instagram and decides an algorithm that promotes divisive messages openly. It's become very clear. We have clear evidence that that is what they do, even if it hurts people, even if it radicalizes people, even if it's misinformation that's clearly designed to harm folks. They promote that because it makes them more money. I unequivocally believe that is wrong, and that it is far better for Canadians to have legislation that empowers us to have decisions or have determination around what is seen and what is not seen. We should be in a position to have power over the billionaires that are determining what's going to make them more profit. We should be able to say we want to have Canadian content seen. We should be able to say that hateful and divisive content should be removed. We absolutely should have that power over billionaires who are just making a profit off of radicalizing, off of hateful, divisive messages that cause harm to society. So there's no question that I firmly believe that we should have that power, the Canadians should have that power, and that's what this bill is about.
Okay, so he's basically blatantly lying. The CRTC is not a diplomatic organization in any shape, way, or form. They are not diplomatic. They are an organization that will dictate what it is, and it'll be the government of the day who's going to be deciding who's up and who's down on those polls. He just basically laid it out. He's saying we will decide. Yeah, we as in the government, and it should be up to the person who made their product. It's a product, and if it is any comment that's hateful or anything, they can take it down right now with the laws we currently have. So he's just making a lot of stuff up. Basically what this is about, it's giving control to the big broadcasters. Bell, they paid the lobbyist one. The lobbyist won over big media. Which really surprised me that Google and all these people didn't flex their muscles, but they're playing by the rules, whereas this is just government taking the voice of the people. It's disgusting, especially being done by the NDP, who's supposed to be for the people. Watch this jargon.
Are supportive of the fact that they were put on unpaid leave and it should remain unpaid.
Yeah, our position is that when there was healthcare measures in place, people had the choice to follow those and to continue to work, and those who made the choice not to, that's their choice. But at this point, if there's no longer mandates, they should be able to get back to work.
And I don't know if other colleagues have any other questions, but on C-11, the government last night passed several amendments, I think dozens actually, that were not made publicly available before the committee approved those amendments. Did the NDP support those amendments that were not made public in advance, and why?
Our position on C-11, and I think it's a really important question around how we approach social media. Right now, social media is governed by billionaire tech companies. The algorithm, the choice of what gets seen, what doesn't get seen, is made by those that own the company. So Mark Zuckerberg chooses what gets seen in your feed, what messages get promoted, what algorithm is used to promote some messages or content and to not promote other content. And we have heard very clearly from whistleblowers at Facebook that they incentivize, promote, and use algorithms to make divisive, hateful messages and content more prevalent on the platform because it increases engagement. Why would we let social media billionaire companies use their own algorithms that promote hateful messages because they can make more money off of it, they can have more engagement, rather than allow Canadians to have a say in what content is put out, what content is promoted, what content receives greater emphasis? I certainly would rather Canadians have a say, that we have a democratic input into what content is promoted, rather than allowing these social media companies, which have been proven to be promoting hateful messages, allowing misinformation to divide people, and in fact, allow people to get radicalized online. They have no accountability in terms of making sure those messages aren't promoted, that they're removed, that divisive and radicalizing messages aren't put on the platform. And so I would far prefer Canadians to have a say on that.
But I and about the secrecy of the fact that the amendments were not made public. Why did the NDP support passing amendments in secret?
And so we absolutely believe that Canadians should have a say about what content is promoted. And we do not believe we should allow that to remain in the hands of billionaire companies and billionaire social media companies that only seek to make profit, even if it means divisive messages get promoted.
Hey there, Sarah Ritchie with the Canadian Press. Just one more try on that same question because you didn't answer it. Why did the NDP allow those amendments to get put forward in the committee? Why weren't they put forward before the whole House?
So again, our position is really clear. On C-11, what we want to have happen is that Canadians should have a say in what content is promoted. We don't want social media companies and billionaires to be using their platform to promote divisive, hateful rhetoric, which we know radicalizes Canadians, radicalizes people, and has caused harm to Canadians. We would far rather that decisions around what gets promoted have Canadian input, that we have laws that we are able to actually determine what content is promoted. And we don't want to leave that into the hands of Mark Zuckerberg. We don't want to leave that in the hands of these social media giants that don't have Canadians' interests at heart. And right now, what's going on when you open up your social media platforms, the content that you see is a direct result of these billionaires that choose what they want to see, what they want people to see. It's their choice. I would far rather it be your choice, be Canadians' choice. We have legislation that allows us to decide what is seen, rather than allowing billionaire companies to make that determination.
So 150 amendments were voted on. Not one of them did I get to read, or anyone I know get to read, unless you were in that room that night. So no one got to read them. They got voted on, but they put it in camera. So we watched them voting on stuff. 3.2.21. Where do you vote? This is why people do not like politicians. They don't answer the question directly. If you asked a friend a question, they answered like that, what would you do? You wouldn't hurt them, but I definitely wouldn't call them a nice name. Like, subscribe, have a good day. Night. I should be sleeping, but this got me so riled, I had to do it. Good night. No doubt they're ensuing, that this is a divisive channel, that we try to do divisive. Well, this is not the case. We try to call it as we see it, and every side gets it. Just so happens that the gaffes and the lies are not coming from the Conservatives as much. No one here wants division. No one here wants animosity. Check. We don't even really like protests here. They're not even really our thing. We do want to laugh at them, and occasionally you can't help it, but you get ticked off at them. But all in all, let's keep it Canadian. Have a good night.